Have you ever felt like life is just happening to you? What if you could change that? Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing you are the captain of your life. How would everything change in this video? We'll uncover the 6-step plan that will turn you from a passive observer to the true master of your destiny. Ready to take control? Do you ever feel like life is steering you instead of the other way around? It's a thought many of us have at some point, feeling like we're stuck in the passenger seat while life drives. But here's the good news. You can take the wheel. Not just in one area of your life. Not just at work, but in every aspect. You don't have to keep drifting along, waiting for things to change on their own. You can learn to be fully and completely in charge of your own life, and I'm here to show you how. In this video, we'll dive deep into a 6-step plan that will give you the tools to take control. And while you might think, I can't learn all of that from a video. My life is complicated, you don't understand. I assure you, this plan works. Why? Because it addresses the one factor that remains constant across every personal struggle: you. Here's a preview of the 6 steps that will transform you from a passenger in your life to the commander of your soul. First, we'll start with a reality check. This is the foundation. Second, extreme ownership, where you stop treating circumstances like a tragedy. Third, ending self-sabotage through decisive action. Fourth, practical Stoic principles to help you face life's chaos. Fifth, crafting a winning plan. And finally, sixth, executing that plan with daily practices to turn everything into action. Now, don't get me wrong, this won't be easy. It won't be comfortable, but let me tell you, on the other side of this journey lies a whole new world of possibilities. A world only accessible to those brave enough to become their own masters. So, let's dive into the first step, facing reality without flinching. The first step towards mastering your life starts with a dose of brutal honesty. It's time to look at your life exactly as it is: messy, imperfect, and occasionally disappointing. You've probably created an idealized version of yourself in your mind, the version of you who never procrastinates, never doubts, and never surrenders to fear or comfort. But here's the truth. That perfect version of yourself is a mirage. It's that illusion of perfection that keeps you stuck. You aren't the master of your life right now, not even close. You've let your reality be shaped by convenience, fear, and procrastination. The foundation of true self-mastery isn't a carefully curated fantasy. It's the courage to confront the truth about where you are right now, and it starts with honesty. The longer you avoid the uncomfortable truth about your life, the more power you surrender. Every time you flinch away from discomfort or refuse to face a difficult truth about yourself, you lose control. Every time you blame your circumstances instead of claiming responsibility, you surrender your power to those circumstances. You see, the illusion of control is seductive because it demands nothing from you. It lets you drift along in a fantasy where one day, somehow, everything will magically align. But true self-mastery requires you to wake up to where you are now. And it starts with this step. Take inventory. Where have you surrendered your power? Where have you chosen comfort over growth? Where have you been lying to yourself? This isn't about feeling shame, it's about gaining clarity. After all, you can't steer a ship if you refuse to acknowledge which way it's actually pointing. The moment you face your reality head-on is the moment everything starts to shift. So, now that you've faced the truth, it's time to take what's rightfully yours, complete ownership of your life. This is step 2. Extreme ownership. How often do you find yourself playing the victim? Do you catch yourself blaming bad luck, difficult circumstances, or other people's actions for where you are? This mindset is the biggest barrier between you and true self-mastery. Here's the hard truth. The world isn't fair. People aren't always kind. Circumstances won't always align with your desires. But that doesn't mean your life is a tragedy, unless you decide to write it that way. The ancient Stoics understood something we've forgotten. There is a fundamental dichotomy of control. Some things are within your power, and others aren't. The weather, other people's actions, and global events, these aren't yours to control. But your responses, your decisions, and your focus, those are completely within your power. When you live in a mental maze of blame, resentment, and imagined offenses, you give away your power. Each finger you point outward drains the energy you could be using to build your own strength. Blame doesn't make you stronger, it makes you smaller. Here's a challenge for you. Take 3 complaints you've made recently and turn each one into a commitment. For example, my boss doesn't appreciate me, becomes, I commit to making my value undeniable. I don't have time for fitness, becomes, I commit to prioritizing my health. Someone took an opportunity from me, becomes, I will create my next opportunity. I'm not pretending hardships don't exist. I'm saying don't surrender your power to them. When you embrace extreme ownership, you stop waiting for the world to make things right, you take full responsibility and begin creating the life you want. Now that you've taken ownership, it's time to build on this foundation. In the next step, we'll dive into how to put practical Stoic principles into action. Ready to take control? Let's move forward. In our journey to master our lives, we've faced the brutal truth. Our reality, as it stands, is not where we want it to be. But now that we've claimed ownership, we're about to take the next powerful step, action. Have you ever felt that gnawing anxiety when faced with an important decision? That feeling that paralyzes you right when you need to move? It's time to conquer that. We've all been there, haven't we? We often hear that clarity comes before action. But that's actually backward. The truth is, taking action is what kills anxiety. When you move, you create clarity. The more you think, the more stuck you get. And that's where procrastination sneaks in. Procrastination isn't just a delay, it's self-betrayal. Every time you put off something important, you're stealing from your future self. Breaking promises you never meant to keep. Think about it. How often do we make promises to ourselves? But when the time comes, we avoid the hard work. We create a debt of broken trust with the one person who truly matters, you. Many of us find comfort in the myth that preparation equals progress. We research, we plan, we organize obsessively, and we mistake motion for action. But guess what? Preparation without execution is just stalling. Your perfectly crafted plans don't mean a thing if they stay in your head. It's action that creates momentum. Even if it's imperfect action, it still builds confidence, and confidence breeds results. Here's your exercise. Identify one action that terrifies you. It's probably something you've been avoiding for a while. That terror you feel? It's not a warning. It's a beacon pointing straight toward the place where your greatest growth will come from. Now, commit to taking that action within 24 hours. No matter what, your brain will fight you. It'll prefer the safety of planning to the vulnerability of actually doing. But here's the kicker. Real self-mastery happens in that vulnerable space, when you stop preparing to live and start actually living. Your future self is waiting for you to honor the promises you've made. So start fulfilling them, starting today. Now that you've taken action, it's time to build the mindset that will sustain this momentum. This brings us to our 4th step, creating your mastery mentality. For most of us, comfort has become a modern obsession, a quiet religion of avoiding discomfort. But here's the truth. Comfort is the enemy of becoming. It lulls you into stagnation, making you feel safe while actually preventing your growth. True safety doesn't come from avoiding difficulty. It comes from becoming the person who can face anything. Let's take a step back and reflect on what a truly good life looks like. We're here to experience love, wild joy, heartbreak, sickness, and, eventually, death. This isn't pessimism. This is the undeniable truth of human existence. We face it, not to be crushed by it, but to move forward. The Stoics practiced amor fati, the love of fate. This radical choice means finding beauty and lessons in everything that happens, not because everything is beautiful, but because this perspective gives you power. No circumstance can take that power from you. Here's your next exercise. Identify something you've been avoiding. A situation, an emotion, a truth you've been ignoring. Now challenge yourself to find something genuine and beautiful about it. If you can't find beauty, find a lesson in it, like the pain that's strengthening you, the rejection that's redirecting you, or the uncertainty that's teaching you to trust yourself. This is your practice, just like the Stoics did before you, to get stronger and to build resilience, to prepare for the challenges life will throw at you. Start practicing voluntary discomfort. It could be as simple as taking cold showers, fasting for a day, or having those tough conversations you've been avoiding. Deliberately put yourself in situations that challenge you, that stretch your limits, strengthen your responses under stress. This is how you truly master yourself. Remember, true freedom isn't the absence of challenges. You will face challenges. That's not up for debate. What you can change is how you respond to them. With the help of Stoic wisdom, you can train yourself to triumph over anything. And in doing so, you'll find the freedom you've been searching for. This leads us to the fifth step in the process: creating a life of freedom. A life that's truly worth living. But before we get too excited, here's the catch. To create this life, you'll have to let go of some things. The truth is, self-mastery requires the courage to cut what no longer serves you. Most of us accumulate commitments, relationships, and obligations until we're suffocating under the weight of our own lives. But being your own master means having the courage to say no, not just to others, but also to parts of yourself that keep you small. So take a look at your calendar, your relationships, your habits. Which of these truly align with your deepest values? Which are just results of drifting, people-pleasing, or fear? Freedom doesn't come from adding more to your life. It comes from ruthlessly eliminating what doesn't belong. Your life's success and peace depend on identifying what you'll stop doing, what relationships you'll let go of, what commitments you'll wind down. To be truly free, you must reclaim ownership of your time and energy. Now that you've identified the things that are holding you back, the next step is about building a life of sustainable freedom, something we'll explore next. Let's move forward and dive into how you can create that life of freedom you're meant to live. As we continue our journey to reclaiming our power, let's remind ourselves of the big picture. We've learned to face uncomfortable truths, taken ownership of our lives, and broken free from the grip of inaction. Now, let's dive into how to fully master the art of self-leadership. When you start taking control of your life, one thing becomes clear. People who benefit from your current boundaries will resist when you establish new ones. This discomfort they feel is not your responsibility. It's time to stop accommodating others at the expense of your own growth. Your energy is precious, and the people around you who have grown comfortable with your old boundaries might not like the change. But here's the key. Their discomfort is not your problem. To help you take charge, I've got an exercise for you. Create 2 lists. One with everything that energizes you and aligns with your values, and another with everything that drains you or pulls you off course. Go through the second list carefully. Keep what is good, but commit to eliminating one item from that list each week until it's empty. It's a small but powerful act of self-liberation. Remember, no one else is going to set you free. This kind of liberation requires decisive action on your part. The life you want is already waiting on the other side of you saying no to the life you don't want. This brings us to the sixth and final step: the concrete practices that transform these principles into real, lasting change. Self-mastery isn't a destination. It's a practice that needs to be renewed with each new sunrise. Each day is a new opportunity to choose your highest self, not your most reactive self. So, how do you begin each day? You set intentions that serve your true self, not the self that just reacts to whatever life throws at you. The goal here is deliberate choice. Every morning, ask yourself, if I were truly my own master, what would I prioritize today? And then, act accordingly. As the day unfolds, you'll find yourself slipping into old habits, blame, avoidance, procrastination. When that happens, pause. Take 3 deep, deliberate breaths. This simple exercise creates the space where your true power lies. Without this pause, you're like a broken record, stuck in patterns that keep you from growing. With this space, you can change. Life will test your resolve. There will be disappointments, setbacks, and moments when everything feels like it's falling apart. But remember, you have to express your sadness, feel your emotions, and mourn. It's okay to feel deeply. But here's the key. Don't treat your whole life like it's an unfair tragedy. Feel it, then choose wisely. At the end of each day, take an honest inventory. Where did you lead yourself well today? And where did you give up your authority? This process of self-leadership is essential to moving forward from the life you're living now to the life you want. For the next 30 days, try implementing one practice from each section we've covered. Here's your challenge. Face one uncomfortable truth every morning. Take ownership of one situation you've been blaming on others. Take one imperfect action that terrifies you. Find beauty in one challenge you've been avoiding. Eliminate one drain on your energy. Create one moment of deliberate choice. This is the daily workout regimen for someone determined to become their own master. The unburdened life is built one unburdened day at a time. If you can do this, you'll get there. It's not a far-off dream, it's a choice you can make right now. Today, we've walked through 6 powerful steps to transform you from a passive observer of your life into the confident master of your destiny. We started with raw honesty, facing the truth about where you are, without the sugarcoating that keeps you stuck. This truth is your starting point. You can't navigate your life if you don't first know where you stand. So many people run from their truth, hiding in denial instead of finding power in facing reality. But you've chosen the harder, braver path, seeing yourself clearly, embracing both your strengths and flaws, and keeping your eyes wide open. By taking complete ownership, you've stopped seeing life's challenges as personal attacks and started seeing them as opportunities to show your strength. Being the victim might feel good in the short term, but it keeps you chained to your circumstances, never rising above them. Every time you blame others, you give away pieces of your power. By owning everything in your life, even the parts that aren't your fault, but are now your responsibility, you've taken back your control. And then, you faced down your biggest enemy, inaction. You realized that clarity comes from action, not from endless planning. You've broken free from the prison of planning and stepped into a world of real achievement. Life rewards movement, not just thinking about moving. Your willingness to act, even when scared, is what will set you free. With the Stoic wisdom you've embraced, you've gained a mindset that sees value in everything, not just the easy stuff. You've learned to choose discomfort on purpose, building the toughness you need when life throws discomfort at you, without asking. By learning to love whatever happens, you've found freedom within your circumstances, no matter what they are. When you deliberately cut out what doesn't matter, you take back your time and energy from things that never served your highest goals. This careful pruning ensures that what remains truly matters. Your courage to say no shows the clarity of your yes. You now understand that adding more to your life without subtracting what's unnecessary only creates mess, not growth. Finally, you've woven all these principles into daily habits that strengthen your control over your own life. These aren't one-time choices, they're ongoing promises you make to yourself every day. And these promises will slowly transform you into the master you were born to be. You've now created space between what happens to you and how you respond to it, where your real power lives. And yet, for all this, there will be days when life throws unexpected curveballs. But you now have the tools to respond, wisely, thoughtfully, and with control. Let's dive into the next phase of your journey, where we'll continue building on these habits and practices to ensure that you stay on the path to mastery. Ready to keep moving forward? As we continue this journey, remember that mastery is not about perfection, but persistence. In those moments when old habits sneak back in, when staying comfortable feels better than being brave, it's easy to fall back into the familiar. But here's the truth. This is when you need to return to these principles. Not with harsh judgment, but with renewed determination. The master isn't someone who avoids failure, but someone who gets back up every single time. This is what sets them apart. When life knocks you down, it's not about how many times you fall, it's about how quickly you rise again. The world won't hand you freedom, no matter how much you wish for it. You have to claim it yourself, through deliberate choices, through consistent action, even when others drift aimlessly, at the mercy of whatever happens to them. You now have the tools to stand firm in your power. Freedom isn't about having no limits, it's about choosing how you respond to those limits. True power lies in fulfilling the responsibilities you've chosen. Responsibilities that match what matters most to you. This journey of self-mastery doesn't have a finish line, it's continuous. Each day brings new challenges that test your resolve, new opportunities to strengthen your command over your life. With every conscious choice, every moment of taking responsibility, and each brave action you take, you build momentum toward the life that's waiting for those brave enough to lead themselves. The question now isn't whether you can become your own master, you already know the way. The only question left is, will you be brave enough to walk this path every single day? To fail sometimes, but get back up, to keep moving forward until mastery isn't just something you do, but something you are? In the next few videos, we'll dive even deeper into how ancient Stoic wisdom complements the lessons you've just learned. We'll introduce new, Powerful concepts to help you gain a fresh perspective on your daily struggles. These Stoic ideas are rooted in the same core truth. Becoming your own master requires a complete mental framework. Whether you're battling distraction, fear, or the opinions of others, these tools will fit perfectly into your journey of self-mastery. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to join our community of modern-day masters who are learning to command their lives instead of being commanded by circumstances. Your engagement helps others discover these transformative tools when they need them the most. Each comment, each shared experience, helps us refine our understanding of how these ancient practices work in today's world. Until next time, remember Epictetus' powerful words. Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. By applying this system of mastery, alongside your own Stoic insights, you'll not only lead yourself effectively, but you'll also develop an unshakable strength, one that no external circumstance can breach. The path to mastering yourself is built one choice at a time. Now, go out there and make it happen. Your journey to true freedom starts now.